Hi, welcome in. This is Assembling the Sandwich Generation, where I'm building the blog while living the reality. Thanks for stopping by. In this audio vlog, I'd like to chat about the making of the Sandwich Generation post entitled 7 is the New 10, followed by an audio reading of this post. When the idea of this post came to mind, I took a turn for the deeply personal again, the most personal since I wrote about my dad's death. Only this time, the personal information revolved around my seeing a therapist. I really want to break any remaining stigma about mental health and seeing a therapist. So here I am, speaking about therapy and the positive impact it has made on my life. 7 is the new 10 is an anti-perfectionist mantra, so if you have any perfectionism issues, you're going to want to stick around for this one. I'm going to let the blog get into the details, so with that in mind, I'd like to read The Sandwich Generation post entitled 7 is the New 10. Enjoy! 7 is the new 10. When my dad passed away suddenly in 2009, it left me effectively sandwiched between caring for the emotional needs of my mother and the emotional needs of my children. I pressed forward in life without processing any of my own feelings surrounding his death, unaware that I would soon face another significant loss in my 30s. I began my studies at the University of Illinois in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences as a biology major. After a couple of years of coursework and a semester of impactful volunteering at a local middle school, I applied to the College of Education. I wasn't leaving LAS, but rather merging my interest in science and educating students. I decided to pursue secondary science education. As I walked into my first education class, I scanned the room without finding a familiar face. I reservedly sat at a nearby table. Almost immediately after introductions, the professor told the class to find a partner, one that would be our cohort for the duration of the semester. I've always favored having a small group of close, important friends over a large group of acquaintances. This was the case as a child, adolescent, and still today. I don't meet new people especially well. Back to our story, I scanned the table and asked a nearby student if she wanted to be partners. She looked friendly and harmless enough. She agreed, and through that class we became fast friends. In fact, we became thick as thieves. As the years passed, we remained close friends. My children became friends with her son and her niece and nephew. They were like family. She was like the sister I never had. We saw each other regularly, attended each other's kids' birthday parties, and other family functions as well. When she started having a series of health issues, I assumed it would be something that would be resolved. As a physician herself, I assumed she would attain the best care. When she told me she was diagnosed with granulomatosis with polyangiitis, I supported her publicly and researched it privately. Her condition carried a significant mortality rate. I quietly observed her surgeries become more complex. We never spoke about what if she didn't survive the next procedure. Numbness, resentment, uncertainty. What followed was not acceptance. What followed was the fear that I would follow in the footsteps of my dad and friend and die young. That I too would leave family behind without the chance to say goodbye. That I would abandon my children, becoming another parent gone too soon. Over the next weeks, I became very aware of my breathing, my heartbeat, the pressure in my chest, the constant butterflies rising into my throat, the poor sleep pattern. I needed help. I looked for a therapist online. I didn't know where to begin. I chose a person that accepted my insurance, was within 20 minutes to home and work, and looked like someone I could imagine talking to. I told myself I could always try a new search if I didn't connect with this therapist. Luckily, we connected immediately. We started looking into all the things that caused me anxiety, not just health-related issues. She had an active approach to addressing my mental health, which I appreciated. She gave me books to read. She suggested I keep a journal. We explored that journal in the sessions that followed, in search of patterns that might lead us to an improvement in my mental status. An interesting discovery that rose out of these discussions was my tendency towards perfectionism. This perfectionist tendency not only caused me anxiety, but also exhaustion. It was a recurring theme in my journaling, that I could be my own worst critic. She unveiled the following concept to counter my self-criticism. 7 is the new 10. For example, everyone likes a clean house, but can it be a 7 instead of a 10? Does it need to be perfect? Does it need to be holiday clean? I found this to be very thought-provoking and ultimately a huge relief. More than a decade later, Heidi and I still use the phrase, 7 is the new 10. Friends, if you feel that perfectionist pull, may I suggest asking yourself if it can be a 7. It's very liberating. Please add comments below if you have a 7 is the new 10 moment to share. My health-related anxieties didn't vanish overnight. They diminished slowly over a long period of time and with a lot of work. I still have a fear of needles, and I get white coat syndrome when I'm at the doctor, but I rarely think I'm going to die early and abandon my family. When I have negative feelings and emotions, I have a tool belt full of strategies to employ. I am grateful for that process. I am proud of myself. Friends, let's be the generation that dissolves whatever stigma remains about caring for our mental health. We care for our teeth, we care for our eyes. Why wouldn't we care for our minds? I make my mental health as important as my physical health. They are linked without question. I don't feel weak for seeking professional help. I feel stronger than ever. Thank you so much for listening to my audio vlog, 7 is the New 10. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. New audio vlogs will be posted here regularly. If you have any stories about perfectionism or how they affect your place in the sandwich generation, please share them in the comments below. I'd like to invite you to visit my blog, The Sandwich Generation. Please find the link in the description. I post new material there first, so please check it out. Please also watch my podcast appearance, Ain't Gonna Be Sandwiched, hosted by Amy Para. The link is also in the description. Thanks for joining me on Assembling the Sandwich Generation, where I'm serving up stories from the middle slice. Until next time.